Hey everybody, this is Patrice Amon. I am an executive producer of Amigos del Rep and Latinx Projects Producer at San Diego Repertory Theater. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Today we're going to have an interview with playwright Diana Burbano, and I'm very excited to share some news about Diana once we get her logged on here. Thanks everyone for signing in. It's so great to see everybody. This is my first Instagram live broadcast and it's quite exciting. It's so neat to see everybody who gets to sign in. Here we go. And we should have our playwright Diana Burbano joining us shortly. I would love to tell you a little bit about Diana's background, her bio. Diana Burbano is a Colombian immigrant. Oh, there we go. And a playwright. And she's joining us right now. So great to see everybody. Thank you for signing in. Diana.
Hi, Patrice, how are you?
I'm good. Oh my gosh, I love your purple hair.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, it looks so cool. How are you doing?
I'm doing, that's a funny question, huh? I'm okay. I'm okay. How are you?
Getting by.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every day is a little bit of like, where am I going to be today? But doing pretty well. I just bought my first home and
Congratulations,
yeah.
how amazing.
The size of that like step or milestone is astounding. I'm very grateful for all those in my life who made this a possibility.
Oh, good for you. That's such good,
Yeah,
it's so nice to have
you.
good news.
Yeah. Speaking of good news, I'd love to start off the interview with some happy news that we're so excited to share. Diana Burbano joined us in our first festival in 2017 with her play Fabulous Monsters. And we're happy and excited and so eager to announce that Diana will be coming back to the festival in 2020 with her new play Sapiens.
Yay! Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I couldn't even believe it. It's like that's exactly what I needed, was a boost of such wonderful news.
Well, it's just such a beautiful play. I cannot wait for our audiences to be able to hear it.
Thank you. Yes, I'm excited. That play is really close to my heart. I worked very hard. It's about if I can tell the audience, it's about
Yes, please do.
it's about people who live on the autism spectrum in sort of different ways, and it's a science-based play that I started writing with Center Theater Group when they gave us the opportunity to have experts. And so I took advantage of that and had some really good scientific experts so that I could get it right. And I'm excited because I hope that it's sort of going to talk about something that we don't see a lot of, and that's how women on the autism spectrum function in society.
Yeah, it's not very as strong a common story that we get to hear, especially within the Latinx context.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, cool. So I'd love to share your bio really quickly, and then we can get into some interview questions.
Great.
I'm going to ask my questions first, and then once we're ready, we can invite questions in from people who are watching digitally. So if you have a question out there, or if you'd love to talk to Diana, add a message when we ask you. So Diana's bio: Diana Burbano is a Colombian immigrant, a playwright, an equity actor, and a teaching artist at South Coast Repertory Theater and Breath of Fire Latina Theater Ensemble. Her play Ghosts of Bogota won the New Voices Festival at the Actors Theater of Charlotte. She was in Center Theater Group's 2018 to 2019 Writers Workshop cohort. And her plays include Sapiens, which will be in our festival in 2020. Please come see. As well as Policarpa, Fabulous Monsters, which was with us in 2017, Picture Me, Silueta, and Caliban's Island. Diana is also an actor, and she recently played Amalia in Jose Cruz Gonzalez's American Mariachi at South Coast Rep. I was able to see that production, and it was so beautiful.
Oh, thank
the
you.
nuance you brought to that character.
Oh my gosh, that play was such a heart-filling experience all the way. Just to be there, especially with Jose Cruz's words, whom I've known since I was 19 years old, and to be able to finally get back on the stage with his words was fantastic.
What did that character mean to you artistically and being able to tell her story?
Well, I mean, it was kind of an important thing to tell the story of the mother. And since, she didn't have a lot of opportunity to speak, I spent a lot of time doing what I talk to my students about a lot, and that's really active listening, and how important that is for the audience, because I think it really draws you into the rest of the world, and especially because so many of the people who came to see our show that we talked to would say to me, that's my mom, that's my grandma, that's my grandpa, and thank you, because I thought nobody knew and nobody was going through the same thing that we were going through. So that was really special to be able to sort of give voice to the people who don't have voices.
Yeah, and being able to watch it at South Coast Rep, it kind of felt revolutionary. Like to be able to hear mariachi music in that place that had been maybe not as robust in the stories that were being told.
I agree. I mean, I've been working there for many years, and that was my first time on the main stage in a leading role like that, and it was very special. And you're right, it was mariachi music, and it was our gente who came to see it, and they came every night. And we had our closing night, we had this crazy, wonderful standing ovation that wouldn't stop for 10 minutes. And they made us come back out, and they made us play more music, because eso es lo que uno hace en una chamba, And so that's what we did. We all did a chamba, and it was so much fun. And it really did feel like a little bit of a revolution. Definitely.
Oh, excellent. So to turn to your writing, let's talk about Fabulous Monsters.
Yes.
So this was featured in our 2017 festival. Can you tell us a little bit about that show and maybe what's been going on with it from the festival?
Of course. So Fabulous Monsters is about women in punk rock, and it follows two rockeras from the 70s through to the mid-teens, 20 teens, and what it's like to be a woman in rock and roll and who is aging. So both of the characters are dealing with different aspects of aging. One of the characters, who I've sort of modeled a little bit on La Linda Ronstadt, suffers from tremors, and that she can't identify, doesn't know what to do about, and it's helped make her lose her voice. And the other one just wants to rock and roll and hasn't taken any responsibility, but is really, really lonely because of it. So it's about a woman's friendship, and what I love about it and what I love seeing is that it gives roles for two women of a certain age, just not to be moms or not to disparage any of that, but they're rockers, and they meet on the musical level. And that's why that play means a lot to me. And so I was really, and so Moises just joined. Moises, who wrote the music for Fabulous Monsters. Hola, mijo. Oh my God, Moises is such a genius. Oh, you have to hear all his music, which we hope will happen very soon. Thanks to being at the Play Festival at San Diego, I got a lot more visibility on the show, and a lot more people asked for the script. And as a matter of fact, we were set to premiere the script, to have the world premiere at Playwright's Arena with John Lawrence Rivera. Thank you, John. This year, unfortunately, like so much of our beautiful Latinx theater season this year, we were postponed. So we're going to see when that happens. I hope it happens. I hope that it will happen, but like all of us, we're waiting, right?
Yeah, the quarantine has affected theaters really severely, and Latinx communities have been prominently disrupted because of sort of what's going on in the world in terms of higher percentages working in these essential jobs,
of course,
higher percentages of exposure. But the San Diego Rep is like doubling down on our commitment to be able to produce this festival, to be able to allow this this field to thrive, to be able to support and encourage our artists.
Well, I have to say, San Diego Rep has always been on the forefront. I mean, even when I was a young actor, the best roles to audition for were at San Diego Rep, because there were actually really interesting theater pieces going on down there. So it's always been really had a huge soft spot in my heart for San Diego Rep.
Yeah, one of my most memorable plays from like my childhood was being able to see Mummified Gear at the Rep. When I was like in high school, they had free tickets that they gave our mecha, and just by chance, like I was like, free, sure. I'm not gonna say no to free.
Right.
And I went down and saw this play that changed my life. Told a story of a Yaqui woman who has very similar stories to my grandmother or my great grandmother. And
wow.
It was just, again, to see your stories reflected on the stage.
There's nothing like it.
Gives it weight, gives it importance. It says that somebody else cares enough to sit and listen to your story.
That's right. Absolutely.
So in terms of what you've been working on since Fabulous Monsters, Sapiens, can you tell us a little bit about Sapiens?
Sure. So Sapiens came about because I have a friend that I've known for many, many years who has a beautiful son who was locked in. And I followed their story for a very long time, just as an observer. And, you know, we would watch as the child she started a business for, I don't want to give too many details because I don't want to impugn on her privacy. But one of the things that they did was they used an iPad to get him to communicate. And I know that she suffered a lot because people were telling her that's not really happening. You're holding his hand. It's not happening. It's not true. And I just remember following the story and one day seeing him type all on his own a poem. I mean, not even just word, like a real poem. And I thought, I mean, can you imagine? The child was unlocked because of his mother, right? Because of her persistence. And I thought, my gosh, that is just tremendous. So I wanted to think about that. And I'd also seen I'd heard an article on NPR about an orangutan who was trying to speak, because orangutans are super, super adaptive creatures, and they want to be like us because we're the people they hang out with in captivity. So they start aping their keepers. And so she wants to speak. It's a real orangutan. You can look it up. She's at the Cleveland Zoo, and I forget her name. It's not Wookiee, but if you look up Chewbacca and Cleveland Zoo, you'll find the article. It's really interesting. But I thought, she wants to speak. My character in the play, AJ, wants to speak. The lead woman, who is also on the autism spectrum, but because she's a woman and has different adaptations than men do, than male people on the spectrum do, she's able more to hide it and to sort of keep it a secret from people who she doesn't want to know. But which, of course, she's considered a little bit odd. And I would love for people to sort of think back at girls and women they knew in school and who maybe didn't act the same. You know, once you kind of know what the signposts are for women on the spectrum who are not diagnosed at a gigantic rate. I mean, it's huge, the lack of diagnosis for females. And you start sort of seeing how prevalent it actually has been, and how adaptable the female is to hiding it better than the male. And I thought correlating that with orangutans who are so adaptable and everybody wants to be able to speak. Everybody wants to be able to speak. And I thought, oh, there's a story there somewhere. Yeah.
Excellent. So one of the ways that we've expanded the festival since 2017 is now we have the opportunity to bring our playwrights into conversation with the actors and the director and the dramaturg in advance of the festival.
Right.
So we call this our period of development. The word escaped me for a second. So we could do some development work ahead of time. And we approach it by asking our playwrights, like, what goals do you have for the piece? It's really early on. We've got a lot of time. But are there any things you would like to look at or investigate or work in development?
Definitely. I want to develop, there's a character of the cousin who comes in whose voice I'd like to continue to develop. She's an immigrant and she doesn't speak English as well as her cousin because, again, I'm playing with language and I'm playing with the use of language and sort of the politicization of language. I'd like to work on that character. I'd also love to see if we could find somebody who is on this autism spectrum to play either one or both of the roles, because it was written for actors with that ability, and I'm very intrigued to see what we could learn from that, if that's possible, you know.
Yeah, that's something that we were excited about as we were reading the play.
That's great.
This year we had over 90 submissions to the festival, and it really speaks to the strength of Sapiens and sort of the uniqueness of the themes that are being presented into it. It rose to the top very quickly, and we were so excited to be able to feature it.
Awesome.
I wonder, I'd love to open it up to questions from the people who are watching online. But one last question as you start to percolate your other questions. Do you have any writing ideas or tips you could offer us about how to write in quarantine?
You know, yes, because I've had a very difficult time of it. Because of course our brains are sort of working in a whole different, we're kind of in fight or flight and adrenaline mode, right? So one of the things that I've sort of been telling my students, and I actually am going to be teaching a class right after this, which I'm super excited about, is shock your brain a little bit, but in a good way. Like if you're like me and you always write sort of from whatever your pen wants to do, try being very organized, like outline in a way that's very rigorous if you've never done that before, and make your brain kind of make a different synapse jump. It's a little bit like working a muscle, you know, like, you know how you have to lift a heavier weight to build the muscle? I think if we kind of do things that are different for the way we write, we might be able to sort of spark our brains to write again. And so I've been forcing myself to do things that are not naturally in my comfort zone. And while, to be honest, most of the stuff is terrible, but that's okay, because first drafts should be terrible. They should always be terrible. I so believe that. It's also different, and it's like there's intriguing stuff there that makes me excited to come back the next day and keep working.
You mentioned a class that you're teaching. Do you do workshops with any theater ensembles?
I do. As a matter of fact, Breath of Fire Latina Ensemble, we're very lucky that we have grants to sponsor classes for the community. And so I teach a playwriting meetup every Thursday night at 6 p.m. I have to take sign up so it doesn't get completely out of control. Anybody can come and watch and talk, but I can only get about 5 of my students to actually read and share work in the time that we've got allotted. So I have people sign up, but I'm happy to have anybody who wants to come and hang out. Even if you just want to come and write with other people, I think it's just a nice supportive place to be, and everybody's kind, and it's just always a great group. So
yeah, I think we got a message from Herbert. He wants to take your class.
Okay, I'd love to see Herbert there. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you email San Diego Rep, amigos at sdrep.org, I would be happy to put you in connection with Diana, and we can get the information out to you.
That would be really great. I would love that.
So let's open it up. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask Diana? We can see your messages down here in the comment bar, and we're happy to answer.
I'm so excited to I'm really excited to be in the room again and working, you know, it's going to be so great. And it's just such it just feeds your soul to think, oh, goody, I get to do that. Yep. Oh, there's that's the website.
Oh, there's the website.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm really excited for you to see how it's grown. So our first year we produced the festival in, I think we had like 4 months to get everything together.
Is that true?
Oh, it was so slapdash. It was like so quick.
Oh, it was so good.
And now we've got a whole year to plan. Oh, we've got a question from Tori. What is your favorite part about being a playwright? Thank you, Tori.
Thank you, Tori. My favorite part about being a playwright is that I get to make a world, and then I get to collaborate with a bunch of other people to sort of play in the world. It's like a more advanced, it's like being a Dungeon and Dragon master. I get to be the Dragon master, and then everybody gets to play. And it's because I'm pretty collaborative. I try not to be a dictator about my work. So, and I love actors. I love them. So I love working with them, and I love directors too. So that's my favorite part, is the collaboration.
Do you tend to lead your characters places, or do your characters lead you places?
They do all sorts of crazy things. I don't even know sometimes. I have one play that I'm writing about World War I that is, it's a romance. I don't know what happened. It wasn't a romance. They were not supposed to fall in love. But I just kept going, and they decided to fall in love. And now I'm like, now what do I do? I have to figure out a whole bunch of other stuff to make this,
Oh, very cool.
I think I saw a question about, let's see, what program I went to do my research. Oh, the program, it's Center Theater Group. One of the great things about being in the writers group is that they give you experts. They give you access to all sorts of experts in the field, and then you can ask them questions and really spend a lot of time with them getting your information. So that's that. And then, what tips do you have folks who are interested in beginning to write plays? Well, be nice to yourself, right? If you want to write a play, it means you probably like plays. It means you probably know what a play is. And you probably have a great idea of what a play is quote unquote supposed to look like, right? So one of the things that I feel stops people is they look at it and they think it's just not very good. But that's so okay. It has to be ugly. The baby has to get born, and it's covered in goo, and it's disgusting, and it's gross, right? And then you clean it, and you put a little hat on it, and it's all cute all of a sudden. But it takes work to make it cute.
That's a perfect analogy. Do you, how many drafts on average do you go through before you're like, this is ready?
I mean, like 11, 12, I don't know, so many. So, I mean, Ghost of Bogota only went through like 6. But that's because it was a commission, and I had a dramaturg like literally helping me the whole way. But most of them are so many over and over again, trying to find things. So, and yes, I work on many plays at a time. I kind of have to, whoops, I'm almost falling over here. I have to work on at least 3 or 4 things just because my brain works way too fast to concentrate on one thing. So.
Do you have any thoughts on the chaos of automatic writing?
I love it. I think automatic writing is fantastic. You can just go for as long as you want, and then maybe what I do is I write, and then you just go back and sort of dig and see if there's a phrase or a word that really knocks you out, and you circle that, and maybe you can sort of dig in your brain a little bit to see why you circled that, what it means, and then take that and automatic write on that for a while. I'm also a big believer in like Mariachi and Fornes's work. So you doodle. You can draw, you can tap dance, you can, boogie woogie, whatever it's going to be that helps you bring your story out. There's no wrong answer on that. So
I think we have time for another couple questions here. How do you go about crafting a storyline from real life inspiration? Do you write it chronologically? From Kyla.
I let the characters talk. I put the play together in a big sloppy fashion. And then I look at it and I think I need to fix this. I need to do that. Yeah, I let the characters world build for me more than, although I'm being much more rigorous about outlining now, because now that I've done it, I really understand how much it helps you just leap forward, as opposed to, like I say, because my brain isn't being very pleased with me right at the moment.
I think, this is a great question to close out with. What was the first show you wrote, and how did that come about? From Jeanette Franco.
Oh, what a great question. Well, the first show that I wrote was a show that I wrote with my partner, my sort of husband, who was a collaborator, and my cousin. We devised a show about Ana Mendieta because I wanted something to act in, because I had grown. There were so few roles anyway, and by the time I hit my 40s, it was like, this is just awful. There's nothing fun. So I wrote something for myself, and I realized I loved it. I loved writing more than I liked acting. I mean, I love acting. Acting is fun, but writing is amazing. And then I get to give roles to other people like Jeanette, who I adore and who I would cast in anything, because to me, that's where the joy lies.
Excellent. Diana, thank you so much for having this conversation
Oh,
and
my
sharing your thoughts with us.
pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you, guys.
I cannot wait to get you in San Diego in person.
Yay!
With health and safety, all the qualifications that we need to, but to have our festival. For those of you watching, the San Diego REP Latinx New Play Festival will be this September 4th through 6th. Come on down to San Diego and check out Diana Burbano's play, Sapiens, as well as 3 other plays and a spotlight show. Again, September 4th through 6th, 2020. We hope to see you there.
Yeah, and if you have
Bye,
any
Diana.
questions or whatever, yeah, just look up me up on Instagram. I love talking to people, so okay? Mwah. See you later. Bye, Patrice.
Thank you all. Bye.
See ya.